Sanctions. I want to say hello to everyone that are watching us on Sinji TV. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Stanley Gatera on Sinji TV. Like usually, we bring you guests here in the house. Today, I think this person is not the first time to see him. Is Mr. Nzaramba. Zaramba, can you say hi to
hello, Ndabaramukije. Yeah. Greetings to you.
Okay. Today we want to talk about issues in the region. What's going on now? So far we have M23 in the Congo. We have sanctions on Rwanda leaders, some of them. And we want to talk about the issue of Banyarwanda here in Uganda. So I think we start with the M23. I want to ask you, do you know the cause that why M23 is fighting in DR Congo?
Of course, the Banyarwanda, particularly the Tutsi in Eastern Congo, yes, the Kivu region, are facing an existential threat. The Banyarwanda communities were the Banyarwanda community existed and resided in that part of the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Yes.
Prior to the arrival of colonialists. And just like any other part of Africa. So Europeans sat somewhere and drew borders.
Berlin Conference, eh?
The
Berlin Conference?
Yes, the Berlin Conference of 1885.
Yeah.
Now, at one time, the Banyarwanda were recognized in the constitution of Congo, or
yes,
Zaire. In 1972, there was a Tutsi called Bisengimana. He was one of the. He was the most powerful person. He was the advisor of President Mobutu.
He was a Mtusi.
He was a Mtusi from Kivu region. He was the advisor of President Mobutu. And due to his influence and other political issues, he managed to persuade Mobutu, and the Banyarwanda were put in the constitution as citizens of Zaire.
Like Banyarwanda are in the constitution of Uganda now.
Yes, but no, here in the constitution of Uganda, that is something else.
Okay.
They are not, not all of them. They are considering borderline Banyarwanda and only those ones, I think. And then those other Banyarwanda whose parentage is mixed, like me. My mother is a Muganda and my father is a Banyarwanda. Those where their parents are both Banyarwanda, they are not citizens by birth. They have to naturalize or do or register. The Banyarwanda they are talking about are those ones in Impororo and in Tungamu and the Bufumbira region. Those ones are the ones they are talking about in the constitution of the Republic of Uganda as
but are those Banyarwandans?
They are no longer Banyarwanda because they took on other names. Like the Banyarwanda in Bufumbira region, as you see the Banyamulenge in Congo, because those are Banyarwanda, the one they call, but they are in Mulenge. They took on, they were called Banyamulenge because they are in an area called the Mulenge. The Bufumbira are Banyarwanda who took on the name of the area where they are. Yeah? And then they call themselves Bufumbira because they come from Bufumbira. Oh. Now those ones are no longer even Banyarwanda because even in the constitution they are Bufumbira. Now also in Tungamu, those Banyarwanda, they are called maybe those ones you can say Banyarwanda, but there are others in Rukunjiri where those are Bahoro. So they are no longer Banyarwanda. Including here, some people were proposing that we call ourselves bavandimwe. That you cannot, that word is very different. It is people who come from the same womb. They cannot be necessarily
they are like brothers and sisters.
From because if my mother has a son who is a Mugisu and whose father is a Mugisu and me whose father is a Munyarwanda, we are bavandimwe because we come from the same womb.
Yes.
We come from Tuvindimwe. Now, but the other brother of mine, who is a Muvandimwe, is a Mugisu, and for me, I'm a Munyarwanda. I took on the tribe of my father.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is an issue. And I see it as something evil, really. It's genocide in itself, by the way. It's genocide, it's another form of genocide. And when it comes to the Bible, it is only God who renamed the people.
Yes, because
when he called Abraham, he called him Abraham later. When Abraham entered into a covenant with God, and Sarai was named Sarah. Jacob was renamed Israel. So there is no way a person who is not a priest, who is not a prophet, and sometimes they confess themselves not to be atheists, not to be believers in God in any way. They cannot now suggest the message comes from God, and those people must be suspected even by the rest of Ugandans. What if this works? And then they go ahead and say, now we want to rebrand Baganda. Because they resemble the word Uganda. Or let us rebrand Uganda because it came from Buganda. And then they go on and on and on. You hear some people call themselves Bachwezi.
Yes.
What if they call us the Bachwezi or the Chwezi Kingdom? You know, every Ugandan must be concerned and they must suspect this venture.
Yeah.
It's not a good one. So when we go back to Congo. Yeah. In Congo, when Bisengimana, who was the advisor of President Mobutu, the most powerful person after Mobutu, when they fell out with Mobutu, in 1981 June, the constitution was changed that anybody claiming to be a citizen of Congo or of Zaire, then which is now Democratic Republic of Congo, must prove their citizenship.
How?
Following the Berlin Conference, that you were here before the Berlin Conference, which drew borders. You see, that's where the issue was. And then the Banyarwanda, because of bad politics, and that leaders could not deliver services, they divided people and they diverted the citizen to make them think that it is those Banyarwanda who are a problem. And actually, Hutu and Tutsi were attacked by some of those other indigenous tribes in Congo. Not and now the arrival of the genociders in Congo
from Rwanda.
From Rwanda. When they arrived, then they went and poisoned the other Banyarwanda who are Hutu to show them that these Hutus are bad. And now they started killing the Tutsi
in Congo.
So armed groups, the other Banyarwanda, Tutsi and the others and other Congolese took up arms when they saw that madness. And actually, Mobutu was overthrown. And then we thought it is going to be okay.
You mean this problem started when Mobutu was still the president of Zaire?
It started with Mobutu. Yes. But it started with Mobutu even during Lumumba time. When Lumumba was killed, those Cold War politics, communism, whatever. So the Banyarwanda seemed were on the wrong side of politics. They were with the communists. And then the capitalists worked with Mobutu. So that's how the Banyarwanda got their problems.
Then I'm asking, why is it that the world, I may say the world is not supporting M23, yet they have a cause, a good cause.
Yeah, because they are facing an existential threat. And what surprises me is countries like USA who go into their toolbox and get a tool, throw it at individuals and the countries to wrong. Their tools are targeting wrong people. Tools are those sanctions.
Sanctions.
Yes. Now you sanction Kabarebe on ground that Rwanda is supporting M23. M23 is facing an existential threat. They are saying the Banyarwanda are facing death, and Rwanda itself is also facing an existential threat, because it is the genociders working. The government of the Democratic Republic of Congo is working with working with genociders. And the ideology of the genociders is to kill the Tutsi wherever they are.
Yes.
From Rwanda, from DRC, they want to capture power in Rwanda, and then all Tutsi, even in Uganda, they will come, because they are looking for Tutsi. Yes, they are looking for. Not every Hutu is bad, but those who have a genocide ideology. Yes. Now, why do I wonder? Israel is facing an existential threat where it is right now. America is standing with Israel. Now you come to South Africa, which is also working with genociders in Congo and Tshisekedi, and are choosing Rwanda, where Rwanda is on self-defense. Exactly. One, the Banyarwanda in Congo have a right to self-defense, and they have a right to citizenship, just like the Jews in Palestine. Now, South Africa, during this ongoing war, after the October 7th attack in Israel, yes, South Africa, when Israel was fighting Hamas, the Houthis in Yemen, and then the Lebanon, the rebels in Lebanon, the terrorists in Lebanon, South Africa went to an international court and accused Israel of committing genocide in Gaza. It is the same South Africa now also working with genociders
in Congo.
Now, that's where I see a conflict. They are not very genuine. Why do you go after James Kabarebe? Why do you go after Rwanda? Solve the problem where it is. America says Israel has a right to self-defense.
But
then it is the same America which thinks that the Banyarwanda, both Rwanda and the other Banyarwanda in Congo, do not have a right to self-defense. Those are double standards. One, two, when America was attacked on September 11th, 2001, President Bush came up with a strategy to defend and protect USA. And then that strategy came to be known as the Bush Doctrine. And it was adopted. He said, they will make no distinction. America will make no distinction between the terrorists and those who harbor them. And they will hold both of them to account. Two, they said they will take the fight to enemy territories overseas.
Worldwide.
Overseas where the enemy is found. Three, they said they will confront threats before they materialize in USA. Four, they are going to advance liberty and hope, contrary to the enemy ideology of fear and repression and terrorism. And then they called that fourth one the freedom agenda. Why don't they think that the M23 or the Banyarwanda in Congo and Rwanda itself have a right to self-defense, and that they must go after terrorists wherever they are?
Yes.
You know, the Americans can say that was Bush and that was him. But also Obama, President Obama, who is a Democrat, when he was receiving his Peace Prize in Oslo, he said, I believe in non-violence. but I'm president of a country, and I'm charged by the I'm charged to protect the citizens of my country. I'm charged to protect the citizen of my country. That's what he said. Therefore, like Hitler, you wouldn't go and demonstrate over Hitler. That Hitler stops his anti-Semitism agenda and the Holocaust. He has to fight, and therefore that is the moral. They call it the. It was morally right to wage war. You see that you cannot stop Hitler using the methods of Mahatma Gandhi, and you cannot stop Hitler using the methods of Martin Luther King during the civil rights movement in USA. So the same thing here. Those are double standards really with USA. And we as Banyarwanda also sat here because the Banyarwanda nation goes far beyond, transcends the boundaries of the country called Rwanda, or the state of Rwanda. So whoever is looking to kill a Munyarwanda due to their own prejudices will not stop only in Congo. They will kill the Banyarwanda wherever they are, in Uganda and in Rwanda. The same as Hitler. Exactly.
They are in many countries, even
in Kenya, but now we are talking about where the center
Burundi,
is.
they started torturing them.
Yes. So when Hitler engineered his ideology and executing it to kill the Jews in Germany, I think some of the Jews in Poland kept quiet, thinking that the thing is going to stop where? In Germany. It is spread. In Central Europe, in Eastern Europe. So here in Uganda, we cannot also just keep quiet. The thing is only in Congo. The thing is only in Burundi. The thing is only in. We are facing the same threat, and actually, our constitution here in Uganda is like, they call it a Damoclean sword. It's hanging over you. Any slight mistake, it will come down onto your neck. Yes, that's what the Banyarwanda are. And we are battling it here. In a civilized manner, we are pushing for amendments and the other stuff. So we agreed and said, no, we are going to stop, we are going to support the Banyarwanda who are facing threats wherever they are.
Because if we don't support them, tomorrow it might come to you.
It is coming to us.
Yes.
It is coming to us just as Hitler started his madness in Germany and then it spread elsewhere, claiming 6 million Jews. So you cannot just keep quiet over that. And then we gave an example, and a certain story was very clear. That a certain lion, which was excommunicated, went and found 3 cows. One was white, another one was black, another one was brown. Now, when the lion came, it sensed and it recognized the strength of the 3 cows
and the colors,
and that it could not kill any of them. Yet it had been slightly injured. It couldn't run and hunt. So it came to the white cow. It came to the black cow and the white cow. And it said, for us, we are bush animals, and we hide from our enemies. This white cow exposes us at night, and we have to deal with it. Now, you, the black cow and the brown cow, allow me to attack and kill this white cow, such that we solve the problem. And then these 2 cows agreed.
They accepted.
They agreed. Okay, you can kill the white cow. And actually, the white cow was killed when all these other cows are just watching. And then the lion ate, and then time came, it ran out of food. And then it came and he told the brown cow, you know, you are my friend. And actually we are brothers. You see, you are brown and I'm brown. But this black cow has demons that it possesses, and those demons can come into us.
Hey.
And then said, please, to avoid these demons, you let me kill this black cow. And then the brown cow stupidly accepted. And when it accepted, when it accepted, the black cow was killed. It so happened.
It made one brown one.
Yeah, now the brown cow remained alone.
One. No one can support him.
No other animal or cow could come to its rescue. Now, after some time, the meat was over and the lion was hungry. There was no reason to persuade anyone to to accept the killing of the brown cow. So the brown cow was killed. So we might be here, and then we are saying this issue does not concern us. The issue is about the Banyarwanda and Congo. We shall be very stupid like these 3 cows. Their stupidity.
Then so, what's to be done in Banyarwanda from Uganda?
We shall work together. We shall support in any way, even if it means mobilizing and fighting. We shall fight.
Yes.
To save the Banyarwanda wherever they are. So that is it. And it is no crime.
Those are brothers and sisters dying.
Recently, we had gatherings of the Ateka people, the Karamajong, the Itesot in Uganda, and then the others, is it in Nyantong, in Ethiopia, then there are others in South Sudan, and then they gathered here in Uganda, and President Museveni went there. So and they were brothers and cross-border communities who are related, and the president of Uganda was there, and he was happy about it. And then the whole Ruo that was in November, from November 26th to 29th here in Uganda, and from 31st December to 2nd January. There was also a tribal gathering of the Luo in Kenya, where the Luos of Uganda, of Tanzania, and of Kenya came together in celebration. So they were confirming and affirming their brotherhood. So there is no crime for us. We shall not only meet during festivities. So there is also no crime for the Banyarwanda to, when facing an existential threat, to come together. Then, as well as there is, as much as we shall also celebrate together. So we shall remain patriotic to Uganda, but it shouldn't be a crime that the Banyarwanda are working together to save themselves. So that's why we are in support of that, and we are also really condemning the sanctions. America must reconsider. The Banyarwanda have a right to exist, and they have a right to citizenship. Just like the Jews have a right to existence, and then they also have a right to citizenship where they are. So the same thing happened in Germany. The Jews, there was a man called Martin Niemöller. He's a bishop. At first, during the rise of Hitler, these religious people supported Hitler. For one reason, Hitler was against the communists, and communism was against religion, Christianity. Now, and they supported him. But when Hitler came, wanted to capture the church, these religious people went against Hitler. They condemned Hitler. When they condemned Hitler, Hitler went after the religious people. And then Martin Niemöller was arrested and imprisoned. He was imprisoned for all the 7-8 years. He was in prison, but he survived. When he came out, this is what he said. They came for me. No, the Nazi came for the trade unionists. I was not a trade unionist. I did not speak out. Because I was not a trade unionist, I did not speak out. They came for the communists. Because I was not a communist, I did not speak out. They came for the Jew. Because I was not a Jew, I did not speak out. Now they came for me, and there was no one to speak for me. So for that reason, we cannot keep quiet, watching when our brothers and sisters, the Banyarwanda in DRC or elsewhere, are facing an existential threat and are hunted. We shall do whatever possible within our means to see that we save our brothers and sisters wherever they are. That's our position. Yes.
But now someone might ask, why is it Congo failed to recognize these people as their citizens in the country? No, is it a problem to allow them to become citizens? What was the problem really?
The Banyarwanda have just become like scapegoats. They are carrying the sins of the government of the Republic of Congo, just like elsewhere, just like the Tutsis in Rwanda who were killed during the genocide. And the same thing also somehow here. It was here until the Banyarwanda went to the bush with the President Museveni before he became the president. So when governments fail to deliver to the expectations of the people, now they look for a scapegoat by other means and then divert the attention of the citizens. By that, I think is common, including in USA. In the US, presidents take on two lines. You have a domestic president and you have a foreign president. When the presidents of the USA fail domestically, they go, they become foreign. They start going, they mobilize the patriotic spirit of the citizens by showing them an external enemy. So that's what is happening in Congo. And surprisingly, in DRC, in Congo, there are over 100 rebel groups. Why are you going on after M23? And those other rebel groups, by the way, those small rebel groups are entrepreneurial groups. They are doing business. Now one will ask themselves, why isn't the government, why isn't the West, including USA, putting sanctions on individuals who are supporting and benefiting from these other rebel groups? Because those are politicians in Kinshasa who are funding these rebel groups in Eastern DRC. Why is it that you are only going after people who are facing an existential threat?
But many countries like South Africa and other countries, they are supporting the DRC, which means they want these rebel groups, the Hutus, to come back and kill the Tutsi in Rwanda. Is that how you see it?
They are in business, but they are on the wrong side, and they are doing wrong business. Because what surprises me is that South Africa took Israel to the international court on grounds that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. Yet Israel was defending itself against terrorists. Like M23 is defending itself.
Exactly.
Again, is defending itself against genociders. And now this time around, South Africa is with the genociders.
And yet they took Israel.
Yeah, they on false allegations.
What
a contradiction in the world. Now, what we want to say, for us, we shall not look on. We don't want to make news in the world again as the Banyarwanda, as the Tutsi, and the right-thinking Hutu, Otwa. We are saying never again must never be a false promise. Samantha Power wrote in her book, Education of an Idealist. She said when she was researching on her book titled A Problem from Hell, That book is about genocides, including the Rwanda genocide. She said when she went into the classified documents of State Department, she found out that the Rwanda genocide was permitted by USA.
Really?
It was permitted.
Oh.
And actually, the legal department, the legal section in the State Department in USA, the State Department is the Foreign Affairs Ministry. It's an equivalent of a Foreign Affairs Ministry here in Uganda. They advised that during the genocide of Rwanda, that the US officials should not mention the word genocide, that what is happening in Rwanda is a genocide. Why? It will make it an obligation for US to intervene. That US will commit itself to intervene.
Yeah.
So they knew that what was happening was a genocide, but US was trying to run away from its responsibility to stop a genocide. So even right now, for us, we shall not first wait to make news that the Banyarwanda are being killed, that there is a genocide in Congo against the Banyarwanda, the Tutsi, and now it has spread to Uganda, it has spread to Burundi, it is spreading to Rwanda. Just like the Holocaust moved from Germany to Poland and the rest of Central Europe and Eastern Europe. We are not going to wait for that. That's why we shall fight in self-defense. We shall speak out.
So you are against the sanctions on some leaders like General Kabarebe in Rwanda?
General Kabarebe, the spokesperson. Yeah. What wrong have they done? It's like the USA is running away from its responsibility.
So if someone says...
Yet, it supports Israel where it is. And actually Donald Trump is also talking about annexing Gaza. You get that?
Yeah.
Those are double standards.
So if someone says, because you're a spokesperson of Ugandan Banyarwanda.
Ugandan Banyarwanda. I'm the head of strategic communication of the Ugandan Banyarwanda community. Umubano. Yeah.
So if someone says, if someone says your spokesperson, is it wrong?
You are not wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, you are not wrong.
Then if someone that a spokesperson from Uganda Banyarwanda, Mubano, said they are against the sanctions on General Kabarebe and Wile Ngoma.
We have not discussed that. What we discussed about was that we should support our brothers
and sisters
who are fighting a self-defense war and in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And that the issue of wherever the Banyarwanda are facing any existential threat, we shall support them.
Okay.
That's the position of the Ugandan Banyarwanda community.
But yes,
here in Uganda.
I want to talk about on the groups of Banyarwanda in Uganda. I hear there are many, but I hear some. They also fight against. They fight to get the citizenship in Uganda. But why are they so many? And again, I hear they have other interests. What do you say about that?
One,
there are many.
The Constitution of the Republic of Uganda gives a right of association. There is a freedom of association here in Uganda.
Okay.
So, if there are other groupings, whatever they are, it is their right to associate. However, what the Ugandan Banyarwanda will not accept is for a particular group to speak on behalf of all
groups,
all the Ugandan Banyarwanda, especially on issues to do with citizenship. And where do we differ? The issue of what they call rebranding. That is genocide. You are trying to kill an identity of a people such that they forget themselves.
But rebranding.
Secondly, the Banyarwanda have never had a referendum anywhere because there is a group which is saying that they had an opinion poll. Where? Should Ugandans have an opinion poll whether to have President Museveni to stay in power or not? They must go into an election.
Yes.
Whether it's a referendum, if that is it, I don't know the details in the constitution, but it must be an election.
Yes.
Now, where did the Banyarwanda sit? In Uganda to suggest and then agree that they must rebrand. Two, we are saying a person who is born in Uganda, and that issue is not only about the Banyarwanda, the Ugandan Banyarwanda, must take on a citizenship in the category of citizenship by birth, not by naturalization. Because by naturalization, you must denounce a citizen of another country where you come from. The Banyarwanda have no other country. Others are talking about there was an executive order, a presidential directive,
yes,
administrative directive. That administrative, that executive order is not in the law. The law is very different. Change the law, amend the constitution, and those who are for the executive order, just like the president wrote it, it is about that people should get national IDs and people should get passports.
But not
our struggle is not about that. Just like the Bible says, seek first the kingdom of God, all other things shall be added to you. We are telling the Banyarwanda, the Ugandan Banyarwanda, seek first your full citizenship rights, and then all other things shall be added to you, including national IDs and passports and each and everything that a citizen enjoys. Ours is about securing and consolidating the citizenship of the Ugandan Banyarwanda, and that is in the interest of everyone, every Ugandan. You don't have to exclude any section of the of Ugandans. You are working against the self. Actually, it is treason in itself. You are weakening your society.
Then what are you doing on the ground to make this Banyarwanda get their rights?
No, we have talked to the president. We met him.
Okay.
For him, he was for the executive order, but according to that executive order, when the president said there is no problem with the law, but then the last paragraph, the president tells the Minister of Internal Affairs, the Minister of Internal Affairs and the Attorney General that there is an anomaly in the Constitution as regards to citizenship by birth and then naturalization, and that anomaly that's what the president says. That means there is a problem with the law, because if an anomaly is a problem,
there's a problem, yeah,
and then you cannot sort out that problem by the act of parliament. You must go back to the constitution. Now you are talking about personal interests of the players within the Banyarwanda.
Yes.
Of course, some people have made the Banyarwanda their own business. Especially those who are saying that
because this problem has been there for so long.
Yeah, for so long. Yeah, they are making it their own. They are pursuing their own interests. But those are simple leaders who are hiding behind helping the Banyarwanda, and yet they are looking for that. But those so-called leaders are a problem to Uganda, not only to the Banyarwanda. The problem to the Banyarwanda, but as long as there is a problem, genuine people will come up. If these ones want money, they want ministries, they want jobs, if the problem is still there, other genuine people will come up. And then If the problem is not there, then the Banyarwanda will concentrate on other things, especially developmental issues. Just like you see the Jews in USA guiding other people, which bank to go in, what investments, health, education, whatever. We can engage in that. But right now we have a problem that anytime you can be thrown out of the country. You don't enjoy the full citizenship rights of other citizens. So
it means the constitution has a problem.
The constitution has a problem, and it is the constitution that we must deal with. That is it.
So according to your analysis, do you see this constitution be amended?
Of course it will, because it is not only about the Banyarwanda. And I wonder, because Uganda, this Uganda you see, maybe next time we shall go into the details on the categories of the Banyarwanda, how they are distributed in Uganda. But the problem is not only about the Banyarwanda. And Uganda has a policy on refugees. The policy is integrating them into other communities. Actually, the president said, when we met him on 21st January 2025 this year, he said that for him we had even another view. He had a view that refugees can be allowed after a particular time to naturalize or register to become citizens of Uganda. But he said there is a problem with any international law. Now, there is a situation where you have refugees, over 1.7 million refugees in Uganda. You leave them in the communities. The Constitution of the Republic of Uganda says you can register, as a citizen. You can only register or naturalize if one of your parents was not a diplomat. And was not a refugee. Now, these refugees who are allowed to go into the communities, have they been castrated? That they are not going to produce children with the indigenous communities?
No.
No. Now, let us assume that each person in Uganda on average produces 4 children. And you have 1.7 million refugees in Uganda. And each after like 10 years, you multiply by 4. And let us assume that at least 50% go back, others remain here. Are you going to go, given the Uganda we know today, its systems, mirror and whatever, are you going really to, will it be possible for you to naturalize all these people?
It will be so hard.
And you're going to call for a war. So by all means, we have to do 2 things. Make our systems proper, technologically, but also let us regularize the people who have been born here in Uganda to become citizens by birth.
But
for the Banyarwanda, all Banyarwanda are not refugees.
Yes.
The refugees went back. And those who are coming now, they can go and naturalize. Now, the Banyarwanda are here in many categories. There are those borderline. There are those who came under certain agreements. Like you see the slaves who came here to work. And actually, also that category is there in Congo. And then after independence, they stayed. And actually, they came here, just they were not, because there were no countries called Uganda, there was no country called Rwanda. Even those 1959 refugees, those they call refugees, they are not refugees. And if they are refugees, then they went back. But then, because why are they not refugees? There was no country called Uganda, and there was no country called Rwanda. You get it?
They are kingdoms.
Now, when your wealth is created through production, And the factors of production that make wealth are 4, including labor. Now, that means the wealth of Uganda you see, there is the labor of the Banyarwanda.
Yes.
You tax them, they consume, they produce. Now, you want to throw them out. The same thing happened in US when slavery was abolished. Some Americans, the whites, formed what you call the American Colonization Society, bought land in Africa, in Liberia, and they told the blacks, former slaves, please, you go back to Africa. They only managed. The blacks refused. They said, you are foreigners here. Just like if you read the history of migration, all of us are foreigners here. We came from somewhere, including the Luo. Now, those blacks, they refused to go. Only 15,000 managed to go to Africa in Liberia. Citing this, the reason we have built America together. You have no right to enjoy our sweat.
Yes.
A country which we have built together to throw us out. So there is no one who has a right to throw out a Munyarwanda out of Uganda. A Munyarwanda who was born here, a Munyarwanda who was brought here to work during colonial time. And for you, you are putting a threshold of 1926, and then you are in the constitution, because the constitution of the Republic of Uganda puts people it calls indigenous communities. That one of your, for you to qualify to be a Ugandan citizen, one of your parents must have been part of the indigenous communities in Uganda as of 1st February 1926. And the word indigenous is relative itself. Because I might be somebody, a Sudanese, a South Sudanese, who came here, who was here in 1980, and might be an indigenous South Sudanese to a South Sudanese who came here in 2013. So that exclusionist tendencies must stop really. It benefits all of us if we are working together and we are under one citizenship. It benefits all of us, all Ugandans, for purposes of collective prosperity and strategic security. So exclusion is not a way to go.
Then what about these people who talk about Pan-Africanism?
Pan-Africanism, you know, when we talked to the president, when we met him, I saw him retreating from his focal principles of NRM, which is patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy. He's saying, and it's very surprising, he was saying, you know, even that labor mobility and the people can go and settle everywhere, it also has to be regulated. Maybe it can happen in cities and towns, but not in the rural area, because it might bring problems. Now, the example for which coming together, the advantages of coming together that Museveni gives as an example, President Museveni gives as an example. He gives the 39 German kingdoms. And he says there was one kingdom called Prussia, which had landed people who had greater productivity, and they looked for a place. Where they can sell their commodities, and these small borders were a problem. They could not. They restricted the trade. So the Prussians fought to bring together the 39 Germanic kingdoms to make them one German. Now, and that was the president's reason, one of the reasons. And he also cited the French Revolution. And he said the reason why the French Revolution happened was that there were restrictions in trade by some nobles by placing taxes, unnecessary taxes and whatever. Now, and also there were regulations on movements, whatever. So it was one of the factors and the causes of the French Revolution. Now, is retreating on the same factors. Today we are not only selling goods. Today we are also selling our services. Why shouldn't I go? Why shouldn't I be free to go and offer my services and sell them in Kenya, in Uganda, in Rwanda, in all the East African community community members? That's the issue. And also it comes to the citizenship here. Start at home. Grant citizenship to all of the people of Uganda without going into the nitty-gritties of exclusionist laws. Naturalization. By the naturalization also excludes the citizens from other rights.
Of course.
Including contesting for leadership in this country. So you are losing talent. You are losing talent in that case. And then the president has always asked, is doubting our loyalty. 2 times I've been in meetings where the president is on issues of the Banyarwanda. Is questioning the loyalty of the Banyarwanda. That how sure are we that if war breaks out, that we will be you will be fighting on the side of Uganda. So there is that issue. But I'm in Uganda by choice and by birth. It's my right. So if it is war,
you found yourself here in Uganda.
I found myself here. I did not vote.
Yes.
To be born here.
To be born in Uganda.
Yes. Yeah. So those are the small issues. But I know that we shall agree with the president.
But people around in the world, maybe someone in Europe, someone in America, someone in Australia, somewhere, might see, when he or she hears the word Rwanda and hears the word Banyarwanda, he or she may think that they have their country Rwanda. Then why here in Uganda you want citizenship? Yet there is a country called Rwanda. How are you going to convince that person that in Uganda there is a tribe called Banyarwanda, yet there is a country called Rwanda? Some people say, why don't you go back to Rwanda?
No, they are very, very mistaken. They are very mistaken. One, we have a country bordering Kenya called Somalia. And the people of Somalia are called the Somalis. And in the constitution of Kenya, they recognize that there is a tribe called the Somalis. And they have their right. Is there a problem in Kenya?
No.
Yeah, it's bad politics. 2, Banyarwanda are Chinyarwanda speaking people.
Oh.
That's why I told you, the nation, you can define a nation according to culture. You can define a nation according to
language.
Yeah, culture is part of language.
Oh, okay.
Dance, food, and whatever.
Okay.
You can define a nation according to territory. Now we are talking about Banyarwanda as in culture. That's why in the beginning I told you the Banyarwanda nation exceeds the boundaries of the country called Rwanda. These are Chinyarwanda speaking people in Uganda, and these are Chinyarwanda speaking people in Congo, and these are Chinyarwanda speaking people in Burundi, and they are the Chinyarwanda speaking people in Kenya and all over the world. That's why they are Banyarwanda. It is not they are Banyarwanda as a nation culturally, not as a country. Yes.
Okay. We're ending up. If there's something maybe you forgot to say, maybe on Congo, maybe on sanctions, you can say.
On sanctions, particularly. Netanyahu has an arrest warrant.
But there's this, yesterday I saw in newspapers, President Tshisekedi, he said he's ready now to meet the opposition. Should we expect that the war is going to stop and maybe M23 will evacuate the place?
The issue is good governance and recognizing that these people have a right to citizenship.
Maybe through meeting them, he's going to ask to accept them.
He's accepting what he's doing is good. But why must it have come when Sadak is saying, please sit down and talk? This is a political issue.
Yeah.
East Africa is saying, sit down and talk. And Tshisekedi wanted to use Sadak as a mercenary force. Secondly, we are engendering Pan-Africanism. These are not people coming from Saudi Arabia. These are not people coming. They are your fellow Africans with whom you have intermarried. Somebody said when we were in Mitiana, he said the Banyarwanda here in Uganda, they are like salt. You'll find salt in every home. In every homestead. So the Banyarwanda blood runs through every homestead in Uganda, and it is running through every homestead within the region. Secondly, I also call upon President Museveni to reconsider his position, especially when it comes to dual citizenship. Because he was saying he's not in agreement with the dual citizenship with the communities that are neighboring in terms of a country. At least their children who go abroad to study, if they go to Europe, they can have a citizenship there and then also have a citizenship of Uganda. But it does not agree with having a citizenship or a Kenyan citizenship and at the same time you have a Ugandan citizenship. What if I'm a big investor? You know, that is an impediment to investment and prosperity.
Let Aga Khan, he had many citizenships.
What if I'm a Ugandan?
Yes.
And I'm a Ugandan. I was born in Uganda, and I want to invest in Kenya. And I want to, when I want to invest in Kenya, so I also want to enjoy, because of my big investments, I want to enjoy the rights and the privileges of citizens of Kenya. And then I say, please give me the citizenship of Kenya. And then you say, no, we are neighboring countries. You know, there is a problem. There is a problem. Two, I want to thank President Kagame and Mohozi. They have been the only diplomats in this war.
Of Congo.
They have been the only people talking seriously about the issue such that it can be solved. So I'm also calling upon other leaders and the youth who are having their phones. It has been Kagame mainly. And Mohozi, General Kainerugaba Mohozi, and Ruto and Museveni, everyone is but a vocal, very outspoken one, and consistently. It has been President Kagame and General Mohozi. Yeah.
Do you see Congo partitioned into two countries like South Sudan and Sudan?
Pan-Africanism, you know, with South Sudan and Sudan, it is totally different. Those are two different cultures and religion.
But it was one country.
It was one country, but different cultures and different religions. Here, our cultures are more or less the same. There is no reason for partition. We can only go for that. If maybe temporarily.
You don't see Congo partitioned in two countries?
It is not something wise. Yeah, it is not something wise.
So
it will only be forced.
What will happen?
It will only be forced on the people of Kivu or Eastern Congo. But that wouldn't be the desire of the African people.
You mean M23 will fight and remove the Tshisekedi?
No, Tshisekedi is saying he's talking. He wants now to talk.
What if the talk fails?
What if they fail? Let me tell you.
Will M23
Eastern Congo, because of it's a large country. Two, it's disconnected from the rest of Congo there at the center because of poor infrastructure. Eastern Congo has always Congo's economy has always been integrated with East African countries. So there's nothing saying that the goods are smuggled here or whatever. No. So the issue is business has been running and it will run. And if it means an administration, it will be.
Like in terms of administration, what will it work?
It will work because there can never be a vacuum. Whether it will be a country, whether it is through Tshisekedi or not, is Tshisekedi controlling Congo? Did Kabila control Congo?
Who is controlling?
Did Mobutu control the eastern part of Congo?
Who is controlling?
The eastern part of Congo was controlled by the Congolese themselves. And even right now, even when there is war, it is the Congolese themselves, not necessarily the government of the Republic of Congo. The Democratic Republic
then
of Congo.
Why is it Tshisekedi is fighting?
No, he's contesting to take it back, and nobody wants to take it away from the rest of Congo. But we are saying, but the Congolese are saying, please.
But this Eastern was controlled by the government because the leadership was through.
And when it started misbehaving, what happened? People had to fight a war of self-defense. And isn't life moving on?
That's why I'm saying there will be
now partition. If it so happens that it is carved off by the Congolese themselves. Now what does Kinshasa have the oxygen to deprive the Congolese?
No.
Life will go on. If it is a government, it will be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then lastly, do you see these sanctions on Rwanda going to cause some problems in the region?
Of course, they are not good. They are witch hunt psychologically. But also, I wish, like America is behaving towards Netanyahu and Israel. Even when the International Court placed sanctions and an arrest warrant on Netanyahu, they should behave the same way. And the good thing to do, because it's them who have placed those sanctions, is to lift those sanctions. Yes. Otherwise, what they are doing is like now they are allying with genociders.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is something wrong. We don't want them to permit genocide like they did during the 1994 genocide. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dear viewers and listeners, we are ending up here from G1 Hotel. We want to say thank you for listening for us. Maybe Zaramba, if we get time, we'll be coming back and we have more talks. Thank you for coming and your time. You can say goodbye to some people.
Thank you. Please support the Banyarwanda cause wherever it is. Yeah, we are one people. Nobody should divide us.
Okay.
As we are seeing the Ateka coming together, the Luo are coming together. We know eventually we shall abandon these tribal things.
Yeah.
But we want to be patriotic to our countries and to Africa. That's Pan-Africanism. That's who we are. And we must do away with the exclusionist tendencies that are embedded in the law. Yeah.
And we play this thing of Uganda Banyarwanda, so move on well.
It moves on well. We should not listen to ethnic entrepreneurs who have made the Ugandan Banyarwanda a business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.